It makes you wonder, what is real? If you could live in a perpetual dream, what's going on there?
So I'd have these dreams and they were so lucid. I'd be like walking around the dream and I would know I was dreaming and I couldn't wake myself up, and I would try to wake myself up. So then I would try to like dive out of a window to wake myself up, or try to like do something that will like jar me awake. And then I would do it, and then I would wake up, and then I would be in another dream.
When you're out cold, when you're out, right? How do we know what's actually happening? What if dreams aren't fake? What if they're just some alternative reality that you occasionally intermingle with when you're conscious, or unconscious rather? Like when you go into a dream state, maybe that's just like the shadow of something that just happened that was real. Possible that these dream worlds, that these are just different worlds that you tap into when you conk out.
I'm fascinated by dreams.
Turn it up and get ready.
Get ready. You're tuned into Audio Protocols Podcast.
Good morning, everyone. You're listening to the Audio Protocol Podcast, and we have a very interesting topic open for discussion today. To any listeners who have unusual dreams or ever wanted to know the meaning behind the dream, then call, text, or voice message us on 087 126 6565. Each night we go to bed after a long day of running and racing. For most people, bed is a haven to retreat to and re-energize for the next day. As our eyes get heavy and we fall asleep, we never give any thought to what is about to come next. Dreams are a fascinating chain of events that happens as stories or images in our subconscious. We can be frightened, surprised, fall in love, or be an astronaut saving the planet. There are no boundaries, a cavern of the weird and wonderful. Morning time comes and autopilot kicks in. Rarely do we reflect on what has happened in our dream. Life and responsibility take precedence, and then the cycle continues again. Today we step into someone's dream and experience the amazing highs and plummeting lows of what happens when we plunge into our nighttime adventures.
Lately, I haven't been sleeping well. It's definitely been a combination of factors, I reckon. Work is becoming difficult as I can't see where I want to take the business next. Every day that comes seems to bring a stiffer challenge, and I'm very worried. At home, things are not wonderful. My husband has been increasingly distant and I can't seem to be able to connect with him. Sleep is certainly suffering, but these days, this is the last of my worries. After a series of restless nights, I was left absolutely shattered, and last night came home and fell straight into a deep sleep, no doubt caused from the stress and strain of everything I've been through. I woke up this morning and strangely could recall every detail from the dream, which for me is unusual. I immediately jotted down the details and called into the show when I heard the topic being discussed. I want to take you all through the dream and let you live every moment. You can do this. I'm so surprised that you're here. There was a whisper that you'd be at the show, but I definitely didn't think you'd come to the rehearsal. Oh my gosh, I have to buy you a beer for giving me your time. So tell me, how are you?
We should have that beer, because I think this might take a longer answer, but I am pretty happy, I got to tell you. And the main reason is because I've got this amazing wife and two unbelievably terrific daughters who are growing up a little too fast, and I don't see them as much as I like because they're always hanging out with their friends these days. That keeps my life in perspective.
Oh my gosh, I'm so flustered. I don't even know what to ask. I have absolutely nothing prepared. So I'm just going to ask the first thing that comes to my mind. Do you have much contact with the royal family? Like, okay, let's just say you had to pick one. Is it Harry or William?
William right now.
Okay. You're a movie buff, I hear. So I'm wondering, are you a Costner fan or a DiCaprio fan? Bodyguard or Titanic?
Titanic.
Oh, interesting. Queen or the Queen?
The Queen.
So you've a very stressful job. How do you deal with the stress? Do you reach for a packet of cigarettes, or are you kind to your body? Would you just grab some gum?
Gum now, baby.
Okay. Okay. So the White House or Buckingham Palace?
White House, just because Buckingham Palace looks like it would take a really long time to mow.
Barry! Barry! Oh my god, where is he gone?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, step right up, step right up. Come closer, you won't believe your eyes.
Barry, where were you? Not this again. Every time we're in an argument, you ignore me. I'm sick of it. I'm not putting up with it anymore.
Roll up, roll up! Test your strength on the old hammer and bell!
Why are you walking away from me? Barry! Barry!
Wow, that was intense. What a dream. Thank you, Jane, for sharing a very personal part of your life. Right now, we have Professor Claire Dixon in the studio, who was born in Florida and studied psychology and ventured into dream interpretation, and is now touring across Europe, giving workshops on dreams and what they mean. Good morning, Claire.
Good morning, Pork. Thank you so much for having me.
So, Claire, you heard Jane's dream. Is this an unusual story?
Not entirely. So dreams reflect on what is happening in a person's life in that very moment. It channels one's emotions, their worries, excitement, and so much more.
So when you were listening to Jane's dream, how do you interpret that?
Speaking to Jane, prior to going on air, she talked about having a huge interest in music and was a talented pianist in her younger years. When it came to choosing a career, Jane followed her head rather than her heart and went into a career in business rather than a career in music. In her dream, she is an amazing musician who is just about to perform for the President of America. She interviews him, which tells us she has had a very successful career to be in this position. This indicates how unhappy she is in her present job and how she wants to be in music. Abruptly, we hear a roller coaster and Jane is at a carnival.
But I would have always imagined a carnival was a happy place. There is kids, popcorn, fun, laughter. Yet this signifies something negative?
Well, it signifies turbulence in Jane's life, and she is clearly crying out for help, trying to resolve a damaged marriage, and is being confronted by someone who has given up. we dream how we feel, and although it seems like we are immersed in outrageous situations, we can still gather meanings from these.
Does a dream have to be recurring for it to have a direct meaning?
Not necessarily. There can be a standalone dream which has direct meaning to your life, and in theory you could have a recurring dream which has zero relevance to your life.
So should we be keeping tabs on our dreams? Like, are they something that we should monitor?
Well, I am biased, but because it is my profession. But yes, I think we should give some headspace to our dreams because they are somewhat reflective of what we are feeling. And if we take the time to sit and process them, it might just give us the opportunity to connect better with ourselves.
So what would you recommend to do then? Is there a certain process or system that you use or that you would recommend?
From the time you wake to the time you leave your house to go to work, we generally do not interact with others. If you were in the shower, making a cup of coffee or packing your lunch, just take 5 to reflect back on your previous night's dreams. Write them down and revisit at a later stage. There's even an app now called Dream Store, which allows you to save the content of your dreams, so you have no excuses.
Right. So anything finally for Jane, or indeed for the people that are listening to our show today?
So to Jane, I would say rekindle that love with music, whether in a recreational fashion or in a working capacity. In terms of her relationship, this is not really my area, so I don't want to comment on that, but to keep in touch with her dreams as they are telling her how she's feeling. To the listeners, keep in touch with your dreams, but please don't become too obsessed with them.
Claire, thank you very much for your time. Also, a huge thank you to Jane for sharing her story, and I wish you all the best. That's it for today, folks. Thank you for joining us, and do tune in next week.
An exclusive service, Audio Protocol. Check out audioprotocol.com.